Good morning. Good morning, all. Namaste, Betya. Today our topic is hypertensive disorders in pregnancy. Now, first of all, we will discuss what do you mean by hypertension. What do you mean by blood pressure first? Blood pressure, it is basically the pressure exerted by the blood on the walls of peripheral arteries. That is a general concept. That is the definition of blood pressure. So, hypertension, what do you mean by hypertension? In up to the age of 40 years, that is between the 18 to 40 years, whenever the blood pressure is equal to or more than 140 by 90 mm of Hg, whenever it is measured at least 6 hours apart, then you can label the patient as hypertensive. Now, hypertension in pregnancy, the patient may be earlier hypertensive. The hypertension may be this pregnancy induced. So, hypertension basically classification, we will see that hypertension blood pressure is equal to or more than 140 by 90 mm of Hg that has been measured 6 hours apart, then we can label it as hypertension. Proteinuria, these are the terminologies basically. Proteinuria, whenever the amount of protein excretion is equal to or more than 0.3 grams per day in 24 hours of urine sample, whenever the protein contained is equal to or more than 0.3 gram, then we can label it as proteinuria, or it is 1.1 gram per liter of the urine if at all the content of protein is there, that is albumin and globulin. So we can label it as proteinuria. The next terminology is gestational hypertension. Gestational hypertension, that is the hypertension should be diagnosed during pregnancies and after 20 weeks of pregnancy without proteinuria. Proteinuria is absent, but here the hypertension is diagnosed after 20 weeks of pregnancy. Whenever it is diagnosed before 20 weeks of pregnancy, then we cannot label it as gestational hypertension. We will label the patient as already hypertensive. Whenever the blood pressure is equal to more than 140 by 90, that is systolic is 140 and above, and diastolic is 90 and above mm of Hg, then first time during pregnancy after 20 weeks without proteinuria is labeled as gestational hypertension. Preeclampsia. Preeclampsia, gestational hypertension with proteinuria. That is gestational hypertension. Blood pressure is equal to or more than 140 by 90 mm of Hg, millimeter of Hg for the first time after 20 weeks, along with proteinuria. Proteinuria, that is protein content of urine. Excretion of proteins in the urine is equal to or more than 0.3 grams in 24 hours of sample. That is labeled as preeclampsia. Whenever proteinuria is absent, then we will label it as gestational hypertension. Gestational hypertension along with proteinuria is preeclampsia. Eclampsia, whenever the preeclampsia is complicated, that is gestational hypertension with proteinuria is present and is complicated with grand mal seizures. The patient will get seizures or patient may land up in coma. That condition is called as eclampsia. So in classification, hypertension, proteinuria, gestational hypertension, preeclampsia and eclampsia. Now HELP syndrome. HELP syndrome, here this terminology, this is a rare complication of this, pregnancy induced hypertension. Here hemolysis, H for hemolysis, elevated liver enzymes, EL for EL, elevated liver enzymes, and LP is low platelet count. That is HELP syndrome. HELP syndrome, hemolysis, H for hemolysis, EL for elevated liver enzymes, and ELP for low platelet count. Now, chronically hypertensive patient, that is the patient is non-hypertensive and now she is having pregnancy. That is hypertension before pregnancy patient is having. That is the hypertensive patient is diagnosed with pregnancy. This hypertension is not diagnosed first time before 20 weeks. It is after 20. It is diagnosed before 20 weeks. That is the patient is chronically hypertensive. Superimposed preeclampsia and eclampsia means occurrence of proteinuria in women with chronic hypertension. That is, the patient is chronically hypertensive, and now the patient is starting with proteinuria. That is superimposed preeclampsia, we can call it as, and eclampsia, superimposed eclampsia means patient will end up in this grand mal seizures, and or she may go into the coma. So that is called as superimposed eclampsia. Now, chronically hypertensive patient with superimposed preeclampsia. Chronically hypertensive patient, the common cause of this chronic hypertension, as we all know, the first one is essential hypertension. Any etiology is not known. This is also called as primary hypertension, and the family history might be there. Then chronic renal disease, coarctation of aorta, endocrine disorders like pheochromocytoma, thyrotoxicosis, and diabetes that may be lead to this chronic hypertension. Then connective tissue disorders, that is autoimmune disease, that is SLE, lupus erythematosus, systemic lupus erythematosus. The criteria for diagnosis of this superimposed preeclampsia, that is new onset of proteinuria. How we will diagnose this superimposed preeclampsia means the patient is hypertensive already. She is chronically hypertensive, and now we have to diagnose that she has been developed this superimposed preeclampsia. So the criteria is proteinuria, that is content of protein or excretion of proteins in the urine is more than 0.5 grams in 24 hours sample, urine sample. Then the blood pressure has been more than that of the to the set point of that patient, that is 140 by 90 at a reproductive age. That is aggravation of her hypertension. Then development of HEP syndrome might be there. Patient may develop severe headache, and she may have gastric pain. She may have scotoma. Now coming on to the preeclampsia. Now preeclampsia, as the definition wise we will discuss, it is a multi-system disorder. It is of unknown etiology, characterized by hypertension to the extent of 140 by 90 or more. And already we are discussing this point. Already we discussed with proteinuria, and that has been diagnosed after 20 weeks of first time after 20 weeks of pregnancy in the patient. She doesn't have hypertension previously, proteinuria previous. Means preeclampsia, when we will consider the patient as a preeclamptic, like she will have the blood pressure more than 140 by 90 or is equal to. First time she will have this blood pressure after 20 weeks of pregnancy along with proteinuria. We can label it as the patient as a preeclamptic. So the definition, preeclampsia is a multi-system disorder of unknown etiology characterized by development of hypertension to the extent of 140 by 90 mmHg or and or more, है ना, 140 by 90 mmHg और उससे ज़्यादा, along with proteinuria after 20 weeks of pregnancy. The most important criteria, this proteinuria with diagnosed, and the blood pressure is more than 140 by 90 after 20 weeks of pregnancy, first time in her life, and she was previously normotensive or non-proteinuric. Now, the pregnancy-induced hypertension, that is PIH. PIH is the short form of pregnancy-induced hypertension. So it is the hypertension that develops as a result of pregnancy. Pregnancy-induced hypertension, in general meaning of the word to word meaning, hypertension that has been because of pregnancy means the hypertension as a result of gravid state, gravid uterus is we can call it as pregnancy-induced hypertension. उसमें कौन से आते हैं क्लास में, उसमें क्या क्या आते हैं अंडर the pregnancy induced gestational hypertension, preeclampsia and eclampsia. There are three conditions and those come under this pregnancy induced hypertension. That is gestational hypertension, preeclampsia, and eclampsia. Now, diagnostic criteria for this preeclampsia. How we will diagnose this preeclampsia? Absolute rise of blood pressure and absolute rise of blood pressure by for 140 by 90 140 by 90 mm of Hg इतना ब्लड प्रेशर हो रहा है और उससे ज्यादा अगर हो रहा है फर्स्ट टाइम है ना हाइपरटेंशन पेशेंट को हम फिर ask the patient to rest and then after 6 hours again take the blood pressure of the patient and again the blood pressure is raised, then we can label it as hypertension. Now calculation of mean arterial pressure. Mean arterial pressure we will diagnose like systolic blood pressure plus diastolic blood pressure into 2. Diastolic blood pressure into 2 उसको डबल करने का है एंड सिस्टोलिक ब्लड प्रेशर से कंबाइन करने का है डिवाइडेड बाय 3 we will get the mean arterial pressure. Whenever the mean arterial pressure जहाँ पर 20 mm से बढ़ रहा है then we can consider it as a significant of this hypertension. Now the next criteria, the condition edema. Edema is demonstration of pitting edema over the ankles after 12 hours of bed rest. Whenever the patient is having, generally in pregnancy, edema is common. This ankle edema is common. So ask the patient to rest for at least 12 hours and then ask the patient to put a pillow below her legs while resting and after that do the examination. If at all the edema is pitting, that whenever you are pressing the part that has been having edema, the thumb impression has been created. You can see the impression of the finger, whatever you are using, then you can call it as pitting. So we can see the pitting edema on ankles and that is the diagnostic के patient का जो है hypertension develop हो रहा है. Even after rest, the edema is not subsiding. Then the because of edema, the patient will have the weight gain. Weight gain will be almost more than the weight gain जो रहेगा 5 lb ना pounds 5 pound एक month में, उससे भी ज्यादा अगर patient का weight gain हो रहा है then that rise of weight is sudden and more है ना, then expected जितना होना चाहिए उससे बहुत ज्यादा हो रहा है, that is because of edema. Then proteinuria, already we had seen a 24-hour sample of urine में 0.3 grams अगर this protein is present, then we can label it as proteinuria. Then अगर हम यूरिन सैंपल देख रहे हैं प्रोटीन कितना, तो 2+ प्रोटीन we can see. Now incidence, कितना इंसिडेंस है हाइपरटेंशन का प्रेगनेंसी में. This is very common in primary as compared to multi. Primary gravida में it is very common as compared to multi gravida. So incidence is, it ranges from 5 to 15 and more common in primary gravida females than multi. Multi is having 5% and primary gravida almost 10% of female may suffer from this pregnancy induced hypertension or preeclampsia. Now risk factors. Risk factors for this preeclampsia. Risk factors क्या क्या हो सकते हैं. प्राइमरी ग्रेविडा सबसे पहले हमने देख लिया, प्राइमरी ग्रेविडा में इंसिडेंस ज्यादा है. So primary gravida because the first time exposure to this chorionic villi, this is new one to the body of the primary and that the chorionic villi she may think it as a foreign and the first time exposure to this chorionic villi, she may develop she may be at the high risk of this development of this preeclampsia. Then the family history, whenever the maternal history of the female is having hypertension or is having preeclamptic history, then she may suffer, she is more prone for this preeclampsia. Again, placental abnormalities, that is hyperplacentosis, means the size of the placenta is more and it is covering the more part of the endometrium. So excessive exposure to this chorionic villi may lead to this preeclampsia. Means chorionic villi का exposure ज़्यादा है, that is commonly we can see in the twin pregnancy. Again, in diabetic mother, the baby is big. So at that time, the exposure to the chorionic villi will be more as the size of the placenta is bigger and the patient is at high risk of this preeclampsia. Then placental ischemia. Placental ischemia, it may lead, the patient may lead to this uh, preeclampsia. Then obesity, body mass index more than 35 kg per meter square. Basically, in the obese female, insulin resistance is there, and because of increased BMI, she is more exposed to this hyper development of hypertension. Hypertension development jaldi होगा obese females में, and she may be prone to this preeclampsia. Then pre-existing vascular disease means already कोई vascular disease patient के अंदर present है, so she may prone for this. And explanation wise, you may go a lot. And later on we will come across this terminologies again. New paternity where the female is having some second marriage, and her body is exposed to a new sort of gene for this current pregnancy. So new paternity, she may be at high risk for this preeclampsia. Then thrombophilias like antiphospholipid syndrome, then protein C S deficiency, then deficiency of this factor 5, the clotting factor, Leiden factor. So those patients may be prone to this preeclampsia. Now, in next class, we will see the pathological factors and the further points of this preeclampsia.